Hi everybody, it's Agnes, viewers question time, and today it's from Baby Girl. There is something in my specific person manifesting story I want to share with you. So it seems, I bogusly believe that he believes that we can and should not be together because we are not compatible. In his own words, our personalities, interests, preferences, and life goals are way too different, basically due to what they define relationship compatibility, based on how things look in the outer world with regards to educational background, career choice, family dynamics, social network, previous life experiences, and even physical appearance, and so on. Oh, by the way, meaning that he says I am just too good and he is bad for me, which of course is not true, but rather comes from his subconscious fears, also from my own false perceptions about him and how he sees himself. Not to mention that, to me, he is the loveliest man ever. I love him to pieces and intuitively know he feels the same about me. Well, still, we seem to be stuck in a self-love lacking situation, only in reverse, mostly on his side, which makes him keep to himself, away from me, one might say, I guess. Knowing all that, I have been learning about my higher self for over a year now, and I am aware that it narrows down to my limiting beliefs and negative thoughts about us. That has been repeatedly reflected back by him to me, undesirably of course, manifested also in the 3D reality of our on and off relationship for the past almost 6 years. I also admit that me, still today, assumes that he does not love himself enough, is yet another negative belief of mine which does not serve me in any productive way. Simply, my main blockage seems to be rooted in what I assume about other people, him included. And it is ridiculous because I do believe that everyone is me pushed out. Now, how would I go about releasing these resistances and truly buying into my positive intentions, such as, of course, he feels comfortable being with us, being together. Of course, our connection feels natural to him just as much as it feels to me. And so undeniable and effortless and coming home like. Of course, we are going to be happily married soon. Question mark. The answer lies somewhere in the lines of being persistent, I would say. Being persistent in your new thoughts about him. Yes, okay, what you believe about him is how he shows up. Okay, so sit down and write, I think, all the negative beliefs you have about him, and then flip them into something positive, and then you can practice those affirmations. Start with 25 times a day, and then move up to 50, and then eventually, if you want to do 100, I wouldn't ever do anything 7 days a week because it's exhausting, but stick to around 4 or 5 days a week and be consistent, and it's the turtle that wins the race. So you will, eventually get to the point where you believe the new thoughts you're putting in your head. It's like you're changing your mental diet or your inner conversation, as Neville would say, about him. Okay? Just like the woman in the story that was having negative beliefs about her boss. I will put the link down below to my mental diets, and that story is in the description of my YouTube, the Neville mental diets, about that woman and her boss and how she changed it. I think that will help you a lot if you haven't seen it already. So going back to, you said the answer lies somewhere in the lines of being persistent, I would say. I just need to gently remind myself that my thoughts create. Yes, thoughts are things. They hatch. They hatch into things. Thoughts are things, they hatch into things. There's another little nugget for you. So be mindful. Don't let your mind run around wildly and doing what it wants. So every time I catch myself feeding on my fears, worries, and doubts, no matter when I am actively agreeing with them or when I am somehow trying to push them away, as either way, the results will be the same, right? They persist if I am mentally engaging with them. Yes, it's a focus-based universe. You get what you focus on the most with feeling and repetition. So yes, the thing is, I think about him all the time, all day, every day. Okay, that is a warning bell for me. Why? If you're thinking about someone all day, every day, I think you've got way too much focus on the other person. You should be thinking about yourself, what you want to create, improving your own life, thinking about your family, your friends, your health, your money, and you think about the other person some time of the day, not all day. That is a warning bell for me, and I do hear a lot of people say that, because if you're that fixated, and that to me sounds like obsession. Okay, I will say, it sounds like obsession. Obsession with anything is out of balance, and it's too much. It's just too much. Okay, there's lots of reasons why, but it's too much. I love talking to him and interacting with him in my imagination, for the most part with happy feeling thoughts. Also very often with upstream thoughts on top of that. Not being in any form of communication with him for months makes it even more challenging for me to maintain the influence of my positive, soothing, self-assuring statements. Every now and then I drop back to the square one, questioning myself and saying, oh, really? Now, maybe these are just fine and parts of the process. Actually, I think I'm even doing a pretty good job. After all, and for sure I will get what I want, even if it takes longer than what I would like it for it to take. I can handle that. I do not need him. I can live without him. I just love having him in my life so very much. I choose him to be my man and the object of my attention, and so it shall be. Okay, so I would love to hear your insights on this and perhaps learn about your techniques for working through similar cases with more ease and fun. Baby girl, I would let go of being this fixated. That would be my first thing to say to you. Now, you sent me this email back on the 5th of May. It is some months later, so maybe you've already started to do that. But I think get your head and your life on your own self, doing things for you, things that you're interested in, things that you love, because there has to be the you in this. There has to be that you think about things that you love to do for you, for your own just well-being. If you're thinking about someone that much, it means you're neglecting all the other areas. And I think that part of your self-love is that you get your focus back on you, not that you spend your whole time in thoughts about other people, okay? And it doesn't matter whether that's a family member, a specific person, an ex, someone new that you'd like to date, your mother-in-law, whoever it is, there has to be a balance. Life is about balance, and the more balanced you are with all things, your food, your mental diet, and your physical exercise, etc., the more in balance you are as a human being. I do see in working with people a lot of extremes, you know, that it goes from being totally in a relationship and all your focus is on that, and then when the person breaks up with you, you're totally devastated and you don't do anything for yourself until you get over the heartbreak, and then you look for either somebody else or something else to replace that focus. Now, what I see people do is they go full on into another obsession or addiction. It might be going to the gym way too much, and then you start looking a bit creepy and weird because you've over-exercised, or, you know, there's so many extremes. Try and aim for balance. That's where the zone is. That's where the sweet spot is, in that relaxed middle ground. There's no high dramas, there's no big lows. You kind of stay in this peaceful, quiet existence, and you live comfortably in balance, okay? Again, that's just my opinion, but, you know, reading stuff, you've asked me to reply, so I'm telling you what it is. Now, I will put the viewers' questions playlist down below for those of you that haven't seen it. I will also put down 2 YouTubes of a specific person toolkit. For those of you that want a nice tight little toolbox of things to do, I've put them in a couple of YouTubes, things that will be helpful, and they're there for you if you want to have a look. And do not forget to do the self-love, okay? You must lay a good foundation. Self-love is what you bring into a relationship, most important for you, and especially for the relationship to thrive, okay? Lots of love, everyone.